Good morning. Zenu. This is a video response for Andy. Kind of a serious topic about Danny Masterson and the news that has been coming out about him maybe going to prison for life, and some of the bloody details of the women that are telling their experience of what happened to them. You know, I know it's very easy to find what's the word? Coffee, brain. It's very easy to find those emotions of justice and feel vindicated for these women, especially when the accuser or the perpetrator is involved in some nefarious activities such as the Church of Scientology. And this is not in any way to discount the women who were raped. So I'll start off with a kind of an unpopular notion that every person accused of a crime is entitled to due process, whether they have been accused of a murder or a rape or theft, arson, whatever the crime is. I believe they are entitled to due process. When you're a celebrity, or even when you're not, it can look and feel a lot like you've been tried and convicted before you've even stepped into the courtroom. I know this personally because my ex-wife accused me of raping and molesting our children and physically abusing her. And in the very beginning, my own family didn't know what to believe and tended to lean towards the side of guilty until proven innocent. My own mother. When she asked me to leave my house so that Vanessa could feel safe, she told me, "I know you've been abusing those children and your wife." It felt like my heart hit the bottom of my stomach. And then, because this was someone so close to me, who knows me, and my father as well, the treatment, the way that they talk to you, the way they were talking to me, and just the general environment, I started to question whether I actually did or not. Not the molestation or the rape, but did I actually, in fact, abuse my ex-wife? And considering the fact that I was a Scientologist for the 7 years that we were married, I would say that I did emotionally abuse her, knowingly or unknowingly. I mean, when you there's a great post on the Aftermath forum of group recently about ARC and universal solvent. Two-way communication solves everything. And I did believe that for a very long time. So if there was ever an issue, I would try to resolve it with two-way communication. Well, a lot of times what that ends up being is gaslighting. I mean, at a certain point, if the person you're trying to two-way communicate with simply doesn't agree, then it's completely possible for you to communicate to them and create reality so that they understand it in a different way. Or they just concede and are like, yeah, okay, it's fine, it's resolved. But in the case of being accused of rape and molestation and child pornography and drug abuse and all of these things that came up in court, I was completely honest about, and it just didn't matter. You know, once an allegation like that is made, they have to investigate it. If it was anyone else's children, I would hope they would do, and I know they would do the same. Because I was accused of molesting my own children, the state had to investigate. So I had to go up to the state evaluator and get evaluated, and so did she. The results are, well, they should be obvious. I'm sitting here in front of a video camera making videos, and I'm not on a registered sex offenders list. The judge didn't take that lightly, the accusations that were made, and there were judgments that were made that typically wouldn't be made because of the nature of the allegations, because they're very serious and they can destroy someone's life. I wouldn't say that my life was destroyed, but my health and sanity were greatly affected, and my relationships with my family were affected big time. So in the case of Danny, let's say he did it all, in my opinion, he's still entitled to due process. Now, apparently, there is a mountain of evidence, even as recent as 2017, allegations have been made against him. I read some of the details, and it's, I don't want to repeat them. If you want to check it out, just Google it, because it's pretty gruesome, the types of rape that allegedly happened, and it's important to me that I say allegedly happened, and I'm not trying to protect Danny, no way. I actually think that it's very likely he did all of these things. But I do believe in due process, and what's sad to me is that, knowing what I know about the Church of Scientology and how they protect their parishioners, especially the opinion leaders, and knowing that the Mastersons are big donators and have been very active in the church for a long time. There's an environment there, having grown up in the church, that gives him sort of an immunity, similar to other cults that give people an immunity, like cardinals that relocate priests that molest children. They just go to another congregation before they're caught. And this is a similar kind of protection that Scientologists that are high profile are privy to. Whenever I made that video about Danny Masterson a year and a half ago, it was shortly after the first allegations were made, and now there have been more people come forward with more. The only information that I had was in 2003, 2004, around that time, Danny was in some serious ethics trouble. He wasn't in the Christmas show that year. He wasn't seen publicly really anymore around CC that I know of. And he was regged for his OEC and management series courses. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's just a huge, and when I say huge, the set of books is about that big and about that high, and it's got, that's the OEC's, Organizational Executive Course. Huge. And then the management series is the same height, but about this big. And to do that course as an ethics action is a severe ethics action. They may have also had him do the FEBC, the Flag Executive Briefing course. I know that there were the new lectures that were out. I wasn't able to sell him those, but John Rigg mentioned that he was doing a big cycle. And at the time, there wasn't many people who were looking or finding the books that I was getting. I mean, I sold over 100 OEC volume sets. And I was able to find them piecemeal across the globe. And I did this as a stat push because it was the only thing I could find that people wanted. It was in high demand and low supply. The tactics that the church seems to be employing now with the DA is they want more evidence, more investigation. Well, the DA's already said that they've got enough for a conviction. So from my perspective, what's happening is they are going to try to find evidence and information to discredit low plane. They're going to try and find information to discredit all of these women. But I don't think it's going to happen, and given the sensitive nature of a celebrity court case, and if they really want a conviction, they need to keep all of this under tight wrap. So if Danny gets off with a slap on the wrist. It'll be a real sad day, in more than one way. It'll be a sad day for justice, because I think that he probably did it, and also sad day for his family, regardless of whether they're Scientologists or not, because their son was raised in an environment where this kind of behavior is okay, because he's a big being. And it's not okay. And for someone to have grown up believing that it's okay, it's just sad. And thirdly, it's not sad for us SPs, but it's a sad day for Scientology if he gets convicted, and especially for life, because one of their opinion leaders has been convicted of abuses, and this is a person who has been in Celebrity Magazine I don't know how many times, and been a voice for the success of Scientology. So that's really about all I could speak to on that subject. You know, I have a lot of empathy for people that have been accused of things, and like big things like that, you know, because it will destroy your life. It'll make it a living hell. It'll make it a living hell. However, if you did it, whether you thought it was okay or not, doesn't matter. So, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is that there's no justification for any of that. But given Danny and his brother's circumstances growing up in the church, there's also no precedent for them for it particularly being wrong. And it seems that part of their handling was to handle the women that came forward and eventually spoke, because this stuff happened quite a long time ago. So their handling failed, and I would imagine that anyone who's still a Scientologist who is supporting Masterson believes that this is not a win for Scientology, and more so along the lines of suppressing, like people are actively suppressing, and now they've got, if the LAPD district attorney puts him away, then now they've got an enemy in LA. That's the DA, which is a problem for them, puts them in a lower condition in the city, and they'll be applying conditions to correct it. They're already doing it. I mean, when I saw that they wanted to get more information, all I could see was condition of emergency. You know, applying a condition of emergency. So, I'm not the kind of person that will say, I hope he rots in jail. However, I am a person that is, I like to see justice be done. I think a lot of people are like that. I like to see justice being done. Whenever the judge got all of the state evaluation paperwork in front of her with my attorney and my ex-wife's attorney, sometimes justice is bittersweet. I didn't exactly feel like the emphasis of how wrong it is to accuse someone of these kind of crimes was communicated to Vanessa. It was, but it just didn't feel like it was like the right amount of, what are you doing? Why did you do that? It was a female judge, and typically she rules in favor of the mother. But in this case, it was an odd day in the courtroom, and she slammed the gavel down pretty hard on my ex-wife. And you would think that would have made me feel better, but at that point it had been a roller coaster ride, and I still wanted it to be over, and it wasn't over. But it cleared my name, and so where I had expected this massive hammer of justice to come crashing down on her, it was it was more like a punishment that she received. You know, it was a punishment. There was no there wasn't much in the way of, you know, I don't know, it wasn't very dramatic. I'll just say that. It wasn't very dramatic. It was like, it's very irresponsible of you to accuse this man of doing this, and therefore you are not entitled to this. And you're lucky that that I'm not XXXX. And that was about as good as it got, you know. So I cannot hope for someone's suffering. I just can't. All I can hope is that for those who have suffered in relation to Danny Masterson, is that they get some sort of relief like I did. You know, something. Because it's not guaranteed. Justice is not guaranteed. There were plenty of moments of injustice before there was justice. And even whenever there was justice, it was kind of swept under the rug, like, oh, yeah, you can go now. So, Andy, I hope that covers what you were asking. And I'll give you guys an update soon. See you.